Welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. Today we're going to take a look at the Wings compilation, which was a recent release from Paul McCartney in all its formats. So there's a large number of formats of this compilation, including vinyl, CD and Blu-ray. So we're going to go through the formats one by one, look at the difference in track listing, the difference in packaging, etc. So we're going to start off with one of the simplest configurations for Wings, and that is the single vinyl LP edition. So this is what I have here in my hands. This is actually the black vinyl edition. There is a coloured vinyl, green I think it is at HMV. There's probably different coloured vinyls around the world at various retailers. But the 1LP configuration features 12 tracks. Utilises the same artwork. There's the sticker there, 1LP, 12 tracks curated by Paul McCartney. So one of the things to point out is that Paul McCartney himself, if we're to believe the marketing, did the curation for the track listings. There's only two versions in terms of the tracks. One is a 12-track version and one is a 32-track version. So we'll go through and see which formats utilise which versions. 8-page booklet with introduction from Paul McCartney. The design is fairly consistent across the packaging. This is all done by Aubrey Poe Powell from Hypnosis, who's worked with Paul since the 70s really, back in the, I think Venus and Mars might have been the first cover. Or actually no, I think they were involved with Band on the Run as well, but yeah, they go back a long way, and so it's nice to see him back in the fold. We'll also see some Humphrey Ocean illustrations inside. Humphrey joined Paul on the Wings Over America tour. He was the resident artist. Glory days of the 70s when you'd go on tour with a resident artist. So he's had a bit of an association with Paul over the years. So let's open this up and take a look, because it's still in its shrink wrap. So here we go. There's some nice touches throughout all the versions of Wings. No matter how much money you spend or what version you buy. The spot varnishing there on the front cover on this single vinyl LP shows that. And again, it's repeated on the back on this panel here. So this is obviously a collage of great photos from over the years. And then on the front, does the same thing, but within the Wings typography. So this does come with a booklet. It's an 8-page booklet, but it's obviously big, so there's lots of room to do things. All the booklets have this green and pink cover on them. They all have an intro. All the formats have this intro from Paul McCartney as well. The sort of familiar story of how, you know, he had a choice, should he carry on making music or not. It's interesting to think that he might not have, because I don't think anyone else thinks that other than him. But that's his intro there. These are the really quite nice portraits by Humphrey Ocean. And that's the Wings logo that he painted as well. So these are obviously all the members of Wings that have been in the band over the years in various configurations. Some lasted longer than others. Denny was obviously the one that was there for the whole time. So yeah, more great photos. This booklet is really about photos and details around the tracks. There's not really much more to it than that, but it's nicely done, very nicely designed. There's the Wings logo at the back there. For the inner sleeve, we've got the Wings logo overprinted there on some more photos. And then these are the albums in question that the track listings have been picked from. So it's interesting, this 12-track version, we'll have a look at the track listing in a second, because 12 tracks isn't that much. It's a bit of a good old-fashioned best of, really, like limiting it to 12 tracks, but there's nothing off of Wildlife. So the only studio album, I think, if we look at this here, I think Wildlife is the only album that doesn't have a contribution on this single LP, because Band on the Run, 1985, Jet are all from Band on the Run. Let 'Em In is from Wings at the Speed of Sound. With a Little Luck is from London Town. Arrow Through Me is probably the controversial one. Even though it's a great song, it wasn't a hit. And that's from Back to the Egg. I mean, I'm really pleased Paul has included Arrow Through Me. Certainly on the bigger 32 track version. I'm a little bit surprised he's opted for Arrow Through Me on the 12 track version. I mean, he's put that ahead of Junior's Farm, he's put that ahead of Hi Hi Hi, for example. And also, when you consider 1985 is an album track, so there's nothing on the packaging that talks about singles collection, best of. I mean, it's obviously mainly the hits, but I think that gives Paul the latitude to sort of do some weird things, and you can't really complain about it. But yeah, it's an odd compilation. But if we think of the other single LP, Wings, Best of, Wings, Greatest, it's interesting to compare and contrast. The difference with this one was it wasn't strictly just Wings. So Another Day was Paul McCartney solo. Uncle Albert was Ram, which wasn't a Wings album. I mean, a lot of them are the same. Let 'Em In, My Love, Jet, My Love Kintar, etc. I mean, Good Night Tonight, that happened after Wings Greatest. That's why that's not included. But I always thought it was weird how Listen to What the Man Said wasn't included on Wings Greatest, because it was a US #1 single. They opted for Junior's Farm instead. So a quick look at the vinyl. This is black vinyl, but it's got the Capitol, Paul's on signed to Capitol now, so Capitol logo. Little splash of colour there, quite nice. The green one and the sort of pinky two. Feels fairly weighty. I think this is a 180 gram pressing. Printed inner sleeve, not a poly-lined inner. But all in all, not a bad little addition. Really, you just want the hits and something simple, something sort of reasonably affordable. And this Wings 1LP set fits the bill. Taking a break from the vinyl, we'll look at the single CD edition. So this is exactly the same as the vinyl we've just looked at, except it's on CD. 12 tracks, 1 CD edition, 12-page booklet. So this is a kind of mini-me version of the vinyl. The difference with this is there's a 2 CD edition as well, which is quite cheap. So there's less reason to buy the 1 CD version, but it still has the spot varnish on the front and the back. Little gatefold presentation. So here's the Wings booklet. So this is, I'm expecting this to be a same as the one that's in the big vinyl. Just takes longer to go through the content because the pages are smaller, of course, but fairly much the same content. And then the disc sits in this back sleeve, again Capitol, but that's it, the same 12 tracks, nothing different. Haven't decided to annoy people by putting a different selection. But as I say, I don't think this comes recommended because you can buy the 2 CD fairly cheaply, less than £20, and you get 32 tracks on that, so you get 20 extra tracks. So let's take a look at the 2 CD edition. So here we go, 2 CD, 32 tracks curated by Paul McCartney, thick 36 page booklet this time around, and a poster as well. So we're upping the ante a little bit in terms of presentation and in terms of the content, of course. So same spot varnishing, you wouldn't expect that not to be there on the upgraded 2 CD edition. So this folds out into a kind of 6-panel style wallet. So you've got, this utilises the design from the vinyl label as well. So that's disc 1 and disc 2. Not really a fan of the slidey in and out packaging for the CDs, but I think we'll let them off because they've done some nice things in other areas. The booklet is quite thick. So you get this poster with it here. Which is very nice. I was trying to work out whether these are new portraits by Humphrey Ocean. I think they probably are, because I'm not sure he would have done he certainly would have done 76 era Wings, but yeah, I don't think there would have been any reason for him to do these later portraits. So I'm guessing these are all newly commissioned, but quite a nice little poster there. I could be wrong. If you know, leave a comment in the leave a note in the comment section. So yeah, this is the booklet. This is mainly bigger because it has some notes now around the each track selection. So there's an introduction. I suppose we should talk about the tracks first. Let's talk about the tracks. There's significantly more tracks. Obviously, there's 20 tracks. Band on the Run. I mean, there's some really obvious ones. Band on the Run, Hi Hi Hi, Silly Love Songs. Letting Go, that isn't on the smaller version. That's from Venus and Mars. Well, Letting Go wasn't a massive hit, but it is a good song, and he plays it live. So 1985, which ends Band on the Run. Live and Let Die, you wouldn't expect that to be omitted. Mammonia from Band on the Run. There's six or might be 7 tracks from Band on the Run, so there's a lot of Band on the Run. Hell and Wheels from the US, Band on the Run. Some people never know that's from Wildlife. Let 'Em In is from Wings at the Speed of Sound. Get on the Right Thing is from Red Rose Speedway. Jet, Band on the Run. My Love, Red Rose Speedway. Call Me Back Again is from Venus and Mars. This is where it gets interesting because Getting Closer is from Back to the Egg, and Back to the Egg hasn't been reissued. So we're always interested when Paul does anything with something that hasn't been reissued, because it kind of supports the fact that he does actually like aspects of those records, and we're holding out for reissues, of course. So Getting Closer is Back to the Egg. Listen to What the Man Said is Venus and Mars. I've Had Enough is from London Town. Again, that was a single, it wasn't a hit. Love is Strange is from Wildlife. London Town's obviously the title track of London Town. Again, a single that wasn't a massive hit. Arrow Through Me is from Back to the Egg. Venus and Mars Rock Show is from Venus and Mars. She's My Baby is actually a great track, and that he's included that from Wings at the Speed of Sound. Bluebird is from Band on the Run. Deliver Your Children is from London Town. Let Me Roll It is Band on the Run. My Love Kintara is obviously a standalone single. Wildlife. I love Wildlife, so I'm really pleased that's been included. The title track of the album. I think that's the best track on the record. Sea Moons, double A side, With a Little Luck is London Town. Soily is the one hand clapping version, not the live version from Wings Over America. Good Night Tonight was a standalone single that came out around the time of Back to the Egg, just before, I think it was. So yeah, I actually really like this selection. I mean, people will say, well, hang on, there's no Uncle Albert, which was a US #1. There's no Another Day, which was a massive hit. But Paul has actually decided to keep strictly to Wings this time. I mean, Coming Up live at Glasgow was basically Wings. You could have snuck that on, but he's been quite strict, so fair play. So back to this booklet then. You know, this is a step up now. So there's an introduction by Paul. We now get a foreword by Pete Perfidis. And then we go into a kind of album by album breakdown. So we've got Wildlife, Red Rose Speedway. So it's not really telling you about the particular songs. It's just telling you what was going on at the time and touches on In the Studio, UK tour, etc. Band on the Run, Venus and Mars, At the Speed of Sound, Wings Over America. There's nothing from Wings Over America on the Wings compilation. So you could argue it's a bit odd even having that, but this is all about Wings, the era of Wings. London Town, 78, On the Boat. Wings Greatest, 78. Back to the Egg, 79. And then at the back here, you've got all the credits and everything. So it's a great little booklet, that. The 2 CD, I wouldn't say it's the best edition, because I think the Blu-ray is probably the best edition, but the 2 CD is excellent. So talking of the Blu-ray, this is the Blu-ray of Wings. These were exclusively available via the SDE shop and Paul McCartney's online store. Obviously it's a Blu-ray, so it comes in the Blu-ray size packaging. Still got the nice spot varnish, back and front. There we go. But the best thing about this is it's one Blu-ray audio disc, but you get all 32 tracks from the bigger version of the compilation, and they're all mixed in Dolby Atmos, 5.1 surround, and then there's high-res stereo versions, 96/24 quality. This fairly much follows the packaging of the CDs. So you've got your Capital Blu-ray there with a little green Wings logo. So that's the Blu-ray that has all 32 tracks on it. And then a booklet here. It's not actually as good, this booklet, as the 2 CD one, because you don't get the forward by Pete Perfidis, and you also don't get the little breakdown of album by album. But I suppose you can't have everything. Having 32 tracks in Atmos is absolutely amazing. They sound incredible. Unfortunately, this is sold out. It was so popular, it's sold out. I'm hoping the success of this Blu-ray might encourage MPL and Capitol to think about possibly doing some of the albums on Blu-ray. The next one is Wings at the Speed of Sound. That's the next 50th anniversary, which will be next year in 2026. So if you'd like to see that album on Blu-ray done in the same way that they've done this, then please leave a comment. But yeah, I think just for the fact that you actually get something new with this format, you get Dolby Atmos mixes of all 32 tracks, which do sound really, really good. I think that gives this one the nod for me. But we've got 3 other vinyl formats to talk about, can you believe it? So let's have a look at them now. Yeah, so you heard that right. There are 3 3LP sets, 3 different versions, which is amazing, but that's what they chose to do. So the different versions are a 3LP black vinyl edition, which you can see on the sticker there. If you look at these stickers, they're all slightly different, the way the colours are done. So you've got pink on the right, green on the bottom. Then there's another 3LP black vinyl edition. This is the limited edition black vinyl version. Now that has a few differences we'll look at. It has a die cut sleeve, and it has 2 posters and a sticker sheet, whereas the other one just has 1 poster. So we'll look at those differences in a minute. And then finally, the other version is coloured vinyl. If you look at the difference of the sticker there, so the coloured vinyl has a coloured Wings logo, the black version has a grey one. So that's the difference. We had 2 posters and a sticker sheet with the other one. With this one, we get an exclusive litho print on top. So we also get the die cut sleeve. So we're going to have a look at all 3 of these. First off, let's have a look at the 3LP black vinyl standard edition. So this has got a kind of back to front thing going on here, because the content, the records go in at the side, and then you've got the UV spot varnish detailing on the front. There's the Wings logo on the side, and then on the back here it splits up the 32 songs across 3 records. I imagine the sequencing of the 32 tracks must have been done in a way that allows it to have side A and side B for 3 records quite equally. You can see that spot varnish logo there. So this might be the standard edition, but there's still some deluxe elements to it. Of course, one of the advantages of having a 3LP set is there's so much more surface area to put designs onto. And just to give you an indication of the detail on this box set, they've actually printed the inside of the box. I'm trying to get some light on this. The inside of the box has the photos printed on it. So you're never really going to see that particularly well, but that shows you the attention to detail, which is good. This is the 1 poster that you get with the 3LP edition. A 3-panel detailing of all these photos. So this is the booklet here, and it's very much like the 2 CD version of the booklet, except bigger. So all the photos look better, the spreads, when they get to the album by album section, there's just a bit more space for everything to breathe. But the content's the same as the 2 CD, there's nothing extra. So it just goes through the album as before. And then at the back, as usual, you've got some track information and credits. Wings logo on the back. So LP1 of this 3LP box set, we've got the record here in a polylined sleeve, something which we didn't have on the single LP edition. And rather nicely, it does come with this extra inner sleeve, sort of grey with a bit of a pattern on it. You can see there, you've got the 1 signifying this is disc 1 out of 3. Presuming they're all going to look like this. So that's LP1 of this 3 LP box set. LP2, here we've got the Wings in green. So this starts with Let 'Em In and goes up to Arrow Through Me. Actually, so the inner sleeves are different. So this one's green, so they're obviously going to be colour coded. So there's the green number 2, disc 2. And then finally we've got disc 3 here, pink is the accent colour for this one. Spot varnished again, as you can see in the light there. And as expected, this one has a pink inner sleeve for disc 3. In addition to the polylined inner. So they are the 3 LP sets that go with the standard 3 LP black vinyl. So this comes with that trifold poster. Very nice booklet. I was going to say it's perfect bound, it's not perfect bound. Saddle stitched or staple bound. As a reminder, this comes with the spot varnished slipcase. I have to say it's not the easiest. It's a very tight fit, so it's a little bit tricky getting the records in and out. So that's the standard version. Let's have a look at the deluxe version with the die cut sleeve. This has 2 posters and a sticker sheet, and it has the die cut outer slipcase, so that's the main difference, probably the only difference. So let's open it up and have a look. Okay, so here we go. So this is a significant difference. You've still got the spot varnish because it's on the LP sleeve, but yeah, you can see here the Wings. That's actually die cut, so it's also inner printed here. So even without the record inside, you're still getting the effect of the photographs in the letters. Other than that, I think it looks the same. Look, a bit of a bash, that's not very good. Yeah, so 1, 2 and 3, same sort of outer design. But yeah, that's the big difference. It just adds a bit of quality to it. Obviously that'd be quite expensive to do. So the 3 records themselves, I'm not really expecting these to be any different. So you've got the UV spot varnish on Wings, polyline sleeve, and then the grey outer. So these are all going to be identical. So this one here, same as before, green. I'm not even going to bother pulling that out. And then the final one, you've got the pink inner sleeve and the polyline sleeve. These photos are all the same as the ones on the other box set. So you get 2 posters with this and a sticker sheet. So there's one poster. That poster was the same as the previous one. So the second poster is the portraits, the Humphrey Ocean portraits. So that's really quite nice. Because of the way where the folds are in the white, you probably won't notice them too badly when if you decided to frame this. It is actually really nice, this. And you get a sticker sheet, classic back to the egg there, wildlife. So yeah, this is quite nice. I doubt many people will actually use the stickers, but it's a nice touch. Now I said there was should be no other differences, but the booklet in this box set is indeed perfect bound. Remember I showed you it was saddle stitched, the last one, or staple bound. This is perfect bound, which means it has a spine. So yeah, that's weird because I'm not really expecting the booklet to have any content that's any different. So you've got the forward, Wings. I mean, it all looks the same. It's kind of a little bit odd that they've decided to have different binding in this booklet compared to the other one. So yeah, no difference other than the binding. So there you go. So the booklet's bound differently, and you get an extra poster and a sticker sheet, and you get the die cut slip case. That's the only difference between the standard and the deluxe. Now I think the standard was available for like 80 or 90 pounds, something like that. The deluxe was a little bit more expensive. It tipped over to early hundreds, 110 I think, something like that from memory. And then last but not least, this is the top of the range vinyl edition, 3 LP set, coloured vinyl, 2 posters, sticker sheet, exclusive litho print, and these are on clear green and pink vinyl. So let's take a look. So we've got the same die cut slipcase as before, and then the now familiar 3 LPs. but the big difference this time is these are coloured stroke clear vinyl. So you still get the same colour-coded inner sleeves, but the first record you can see there, clear vinyl pressing. This is going to be a green vinyl pressing. And then finally, pink vinyl for the third LP. Same perfect bound booklet that we got in the black vinyl version, so there's nothing different in here. And then let's look at these posters then. So this is the same poster that you get in the standard 3LP and the limited edition 3LP black vinyl box sets. This is the same poster from the 3LP black vinyl limited edition with the die cut sleeve. There's the sticker sheet from the previous box set. Right, so this is the limited edition litho. It's printed on sort of textured cards, quite high quality, and it says HO 2025, that stands for Humphrey Ocean. I'm not sure if that's handwritten, it kind of looks like it is. It's quite hard to tell really whether that's hand numbered or not really hand numbered, but handwritten. But it's nice, yeah, it's definitely a nice little extra, it's quite sort of classic. So there we have it then, with the top of the range 3LP coloured vinyl limited edition. You get 4 elements. You get 2 posters, sticker sheet and the litho. You get the nice perfect bound booklet, and you get the 3 coloured vinyl records. One thing to note here is you can, with the die cut versions of these, you can choose to display it in a different way. So the vinyl record that has the pink wings on the outside obviously gives you a pink look. That's actually from the booklet. Or if you choose to put the green one in, you can make it look like that. So it's a bit of fun, a bit of flexibility. But for now, I'll put it back to the black and white photos. So that is the limited edition 3LP coloured vinyl version of the Wings release. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Wings release by Paul McCartney and Wings. We've looked at the CD, the 2 CD, the Blu-ray, the 1 LP and the 3 3LP box sets. So if you have enjoyed this unboxing video, why not subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.